Om Vakrtunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Saviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha
Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha.
Atha Shashtodhyayaha
Atha Shashtodhyayaha.
Shri Bhagavanuvacha
Shri Bhagavanuvacha.
These two shlokas we will read now, and then we can next shloka we will read. Uddharedatmanatmanam natmanam avasadayet
Uttaredatmanatmanam atmanam avasadayet.
Atmaiva hyatmano bandhuratmaiva ripuratmanah
Atmaiva hyatmano bandhuhu atmaiva ripurat atmaiva ripuratmanaha.
Bandhuratmatmanastasya yenatmaivatmana jitah
Bandhuratmatmanasthasya yenatmaivatmana jitaha.
अनात्मनस्तु शत्रुत्वे वर्तेतात्मैव शत्रुवत्
Anatmanastu shatrutve varthetatmaiva shatruvat.
These two shlokas talks about Atma Vishwas, Atma Shraddha. Shraddha, one of the important prerequisite for an adhikari. Shastreshu, Shastra Vakyeshu Vishwasa Shraddha. That is Shraddha. But Atma Vishwasa also important. Atma Kripa. They say you need Guru Kripa, Ishvara Kripa, Shastra Kripa, Atma Kripa. Atma Kripa is important. Even if you have Guru Kripa, Ishvara Kripa, Shastra Kripa, if Atma Kripa is not there, then even though all the Kripas are there, then one will not be successful. Atma Kripa, Atma Vishwasa. So therefore one has to lift oneself by oneself. Nobody can really lift others. That is, one has to keep the mind up always by oneself. As the mind, when the mind is as the mind, then the body also will be. So body, mind, senses, all these are referred to by the word Atma in the previous shloka. That is fifth shloka. So Atma, when Atma eva Atmanah bandhu, so oneself is Atma is one's friend. Here Atma is not Sachidananda Atma. The one who has the capacity to lift, oneself. Then oneself is one friend to oneself. Otherwise, oneself becomes an enemy. Then the shloka says number 6. For the one who has the self-mastery, then he is a friend to himself. Then he is a friend of himself. The one who has mastered the Sharimana Sangata, for him the Sharimana Sangata, this is a friend. Otherwise, Anatmanasto, that is referring to Sharimana Sangata, if it is not mastered, then it is like an enemy. Shatruvat remains an enemy. Iti. Then the next shloka starts. Jitatmanaha. Jitaha Atma. Antakaranam. Yena Saha. By one whom the Antakaranam is mastered. That is Shama. Shama. Shama Dama Titiksha Shraddha Samadhanam. In that Shama. Shama is Jitatmanaha. Let us read the shloka. And every word is you have to see, look at the meaning, and beautiful words. All are beautiful words referring, describing the person. Okay, let us read. The next shloka, Bhagavan Krishna discusses a person who has been a friend to himself or herself. Chitatmanah prashantasya paramatma samahitaha.
Chitatmanah prashantasya paramatma samahitaha.
Shitoshna sukha dukkheshu tatha manapamanayoh.
Shitoshna sukha dukkheshu tadha manapamanayoh.
The shloka is interpreted in two ways. That splitting the word param atma or paramatma. The one whose mind is placed in atma, paramatma, Ishvara. That is paramatma. Or param atma samahitaha. In that way also, samyak agitaha. Atma is Brahma iti samyak agitaha. We will see that one whose mind is paramatma samahita means that param can take in the sense of always. So atma is antakarnam. So the person whose mind is always in a composed state. That meaning also. So two meanings are possible. Jitatmanaha is the one who has conquered his atma. Atma is antakarnam. That is self-mastery. Prashantasya is prashantaha. It's always prashantaha, calm, peace, quiet, composed. Shitoshna sukha dukkeshu. With regard to Shita, Ushna, Sukha, Dukkha, to all the pairs of opposites, and also with regard to Mana, Apamana, praise, criticism, Prashantaha. It means these do not touch the person. That person, the mind of such a person, it is Samyak Agitaha, it remains it is in a state of the composure, peace. The mind that peace that the mind enjoys cannot be disturbed. So the mind, Jitatmanaha, was mastery over oneself, and Prashantaha, the mind which is tranquil, not troubled by any of these pairs of opposites, enjoys the quietude, calmness, composure. For the one who has mastery over oneself means Sharira Manasangata. That is Atma, Chitatmanaha. Whose mind is tranquil, Prashantaha, with regard to Shitoshna Sukha Dukkeshu, Shita, Ushna, heat and cold, Sukha Dukkha, pleasure and pain, Mana, Apamana, praise and criticism. Then Atma, Param Atma, Samahitaha, Param, always, Sada, Atma, the Antakarnam, is in a composed state, state of composure. Yes, this verse can be looked at in two ways. Because of the word Paramatma. Paramatma we can split, or Paramatma is taken as Paramatma, Satchidananda Atma, Brahma iti. So by that, two interpretations possible. Depending on whether the word Param is placed with Samagita or Atma. Yes. First, we shall look at it as Atma, that is the mind, Param Samahitaha. Param, the mind, Param Samahitaha. First, we will see the meaning. Then we shall look at it as Paramatma Samahitaha, as Bhagavad does in his commentary. We have already seen the meaning of Jitatma, where previous shloka, Jitatma, self-mastery, we have seen Jitatma. So whose mind, whose body, mind and senses are mastered. To have mastery over your mind means that you are not carried away by its various moods. So that's no mood swing. The mood, everything, the mood is with you. Everything is under your vasha, your control. Mind is under your control. Sense organs are under your control. So Shama is there, then Dhamma also is implied. Dhamma meaning mastery over sense organs. Mastery over mind implies mastery over sense organs. Mastery over sense organs doesn't imply mastery over mind. Because sense organs function in the presence of mind. If mind is mastered, sense organs are as good as mastered. Okay, therefore, to have mastery over mind means that you are not carried away by your various moods, mood swings. In other words, the mood should be left to grammar. Just jokingly says, mood is in Sanskritam, we have 6 tenses and 4 moods. Ashiling, then Lot, Lakara, Ling Lakara. Ling Lakara is Ashiling and Vidiling also. And conditional. They're called moods. In Sanskritam, we have 4 plus 6, 6 plus 4, that is 10 lakaras, 6 kalavachaka, and 4 prakaravachaka. That is imperative mode, potential mode, subjunctive mode, that is conditional mode, and benediction also it is one more, so 4. So that should be left to grammar, just jokingly says. For the one who has mastered the mind, there are no moods than this. Yes, only grammatical moods are there. There is no mood swings. People are generally subject to moods. In the morning, there is one mood. In the evening, there is another mood. And in between, there are so many more moods coming and going, subject to fluctuation. When the moods change, the person also is a different person. In fact, the activity of a person, the behavior of the person depends on its mood. They say, I'm not in a good mood. So the mood swings. When the moods of the mind are understood clearly, when you have an objective approach to the moods, then you're not carried away by the mind. This is not to say that you should not have moods. To even suggest such a thing puts you in a bad mood. Please don't think, therefore, I say that one should not have moods. Moods that just happen, it comes. You don't invite. Have your moods by all means and understand them so that you will not be carried away by them. That is important. Don't be carried away by the moods. Then you are the master of the moods. If you're carried away by the moods, then you will feel pain, you will be in dukkam, you will be in problem. So if you're not carried away, then when you have the mastery over the moods, then let the moods be there. So it's not a problem. As long as it doesn't do any harm, doesn't make you worry, it doesn't make you feel, lonely or rejected or dejected. So therefore it is fine. Therefore you have mastery over the moods. Let them not be the master of you. If you can get a space necessary to come out on the top of the mood, then the mood doesn't take you as its hostage. So don't be the hostage of your moods. Let the mood be under your vasha. So this then is what is meant by jitatma. Jitaha atma antakranam. The vritti, the thoughts which come and go, which occur in the mind. Don't let yourself subject to the force of the thoughts. Don't get impacted by the thoughts. Thoughts come and thoughts go. Just be watchful. This is jitaha atma. If we can maintain a sakshi bhava, then thoughts are harmless. Let it come and let it go. You are not a thought. Thoughts comes and go. Without inviting, it comes, and without any deliberation, it just leaves. You don't have to push them out. The more you try, the more will try to be in the mind. Let it come, let it go. This is what is meant by Jitatma, one who has mastered his or her moods. Then, nature of tranquility, Prashantaha. Prashanta referring to the person, Prashantasya of the person who enjoys the chitta, the mind, which is Prashantaha, just a tranquil. Naturally, such a person will be whose mind is tranquil, Prashantaha. Why? Because he or she is Jitatma. Because he is Jitatma, therefore his chittam will be, mind will be Prashantaha, Prashantam. One who is not carried away by the moods of the mind. For the one who is Jitatma and Prashanta, what could be the situation in life which brings in pain, which brings in trouble, problems? Nothing. There is no such situation that can really disturb the person. He remains unagitated in spite of trying situations. Because the mind is always in her or his hands, meaning that it is always composed. Param samahita, samyak agitaha, it is well composed. Param, all sada, sada, paramik sada, always. That's why it never loses itself in any situation. It means always. Always samahitaha, always it is composed. Samyak ahitam chittam. The mind is always param, sada, always samyak ahitam, it is composed. Therefore, not troubled by the any pairs of opposites. Shita, Ushta, Sukha, Dukkha, Mana, Apamana, Labha, Labha. When everything is going well, when the food you want is right there, when the music is just right, when the people you want to talk are readily available, it is not difficult for the mind to be composed. In this shloka, however, we are talking about a person whose mind is always composed, not depending on the situations, not depending on any other external factors. Param Samagita in all situations. Situations change, but its tranquility doesn't change. The compound here, Shitoshna Sukha Dukkheshu, stands for all situations, all the opposites. Shita meaning cold, not simply presently cold, but so cold that you cannot withstand it. And simply Ushna means unpleasantly hot, not just hot, unpleasantly hot, scorching. Thus, neither the cold or the heat referred to here is at all comfortable. Not that, not that the person feels disturbed, agitated because of cold and heat, but he just all right without complaining. That is, his mind is not disturbed. That is what it is. It accepts because over cold or ushna, we don't have any control. In summer, it will be hot. In winter, it will be cold. That is how the seasons are. What's the point in complaining over that? The changing seasons. So therefore, therefore, he doesn't lose his peace of mind. So therefore he accepts. So when there is acceptance, friction reduces. When friction is not there, naturally the mind will be composed. So if cold is there, accordingly you have if cold is accordingly you have the necessary the coats or the robes, wardrobes to protect yourself from cold. Similarly, when heat is there, expose yourself to the fresh air. So that's the only way, or that's the only way to protect yourself from extreme cold and hot. So that being there, what, instead of complaining and making one's mind disturbed, agitated, just take the measures by which you can protect yourself from the extreme weathers. So therefore, there is no complaint because it is the order. This is how it is the nature. So therefore, without complaining, either he tolerates or he just takes in some precautions to protect himself from extreme cold, extreme heat. Similarly, Sukha, Dukkha, Mana, Pamana, with regard to all pairs of opposites. Then again, there are situations that give people some comfort, some happiness, some pleasure, Sukha, another situation which give discomfort, unhappiness, and sorrow, Dukkha. The person knows when Sukha is there, it will go. When Dukkha comes, that also will go. So anything which comes, they are Agama Payanaha, as we have seen the second chapter. Matra sparsha sukaunte yashitoshta sukadukadaha agamapayino nitya hanityaha. They come and go. They constantly change. In all of these constantly changing situations, the one who has mastery over mind, he always remains composed. For such a person, there is no question of dukkha coming, because for dukkha to come, dukkha means there means the mind's composure must be gone. Because the mind must have lost its tranquility. Then only one can feel dukkha. Similarly, one can feel sukha when the mind, the tranquility is lost. Therefore, the point being made here is that all those situations that generally bring about sukha or dukkha for people, that create no disturbance whatsoever in the mind of the person whose mind is always composed. This is by understanding, looking at the situation very objectively. So therefore, his mind is ever calm. This verse shloka also points out one more set of opposites, which is the mana apamana yoga, praise mana, censure or shame, apamana, apamana insult. These two are given special mention because they are difficult to deal with. Generally, we feel happy when somebody praises. When somebody insults, we experience dukkham, pain. So therefore, this is important to be mentioned here. Special situation. Therefore, they are because it is difficult to deal with. Therefore, it is separately given mana, apamana, yoga. Even praise can be hard to handle sometimes because someone praises you. You may think that the person is going to ask you for something. Therefore, you are afraid. You can handle the praise all right, but if it is just a preamble to something else, you don't hear it because you're waiting for what it is to come. And censure, insult, always is difficult to handle because your ego is hurt. When someone says about himself that he can handle criticism very well, suppose if another person encounters that by saying, no, you cannot, this itself is enough for the person to feel offended. So this is because he cannot handle censure, even though he thought he could. Another example of talking things personally and getting offended is when you're doing a particular job and someone tells you that you are not to do the job, you are to do another. Immediately you are inclined to take it personally. So therefore, criticism is difficult to handle. So why criticism is difficult, so difficult to take? Because there's a lot of this abhimana with that criticism. Criticism very difficult because it is personalized, abhimana. It touches some painful part of you, some painful hidden part of you. It is there inside you, it is triggered. This comes from the childhood, one's childhood. It is there, stored as the samskara in the mind. So that is the childhood, the rejections, the pain, it is invoked. If parent constantly criticize a child, the criticism becomes a problem for the child. When it grows up, anybody criticizes, the child cannot bear. It creates a vulnerable area, the criticism, a raw, sensitive area. And any subsequent criticism causes a pain to come out because it is already there. So in childhood, it is gathered, the pain manifests when somebody criticizes you. So the pain, what one encounters is a resultant of the pain which has already the child had gathered in the childhood. This is the aspect of criticism that makes it very difficult to handle. If one has a healthy childhood, then probably one can handle criticism well. So because the person has more self-acceptance, therefore, even if somebody criticizes, it doesn't take it to its heart. It doesn't become personalized for him. Therefore, here the person discussed in the shloka is one who has taken care of all these issues, all these problems through proper understanding. Understanding is important. Clear understanding of all these pairs of opposites. Without a proper understanding, new philosophies may be created which are nothing again but superimpositions upon the pain, sorrow, and other problems. To simply conclude, you should not subject to yourself to censure, for example, that also doesn't work. You have to work on gaining mastery over the mind because these opposites, cold and heat, pain and pressure, praise and censure, these are all the disturbing elements for people, disturbing dvandvas. What Bhagavan is saying here is that these pairs of opposites do not disturb you. Therefore, make sure that, these pairs of opposites disturb you. Naturally, it disturbs a person naturally. Therefore, make sure that you don't get disturbed by these pairs of opposites. To say I should not be disturbed is a superimposition upon yourself. The one who is disturbed and is nothing but confusion. In fact, people who preach that you should not be disturbed never help anyone, because whatever they say becomes superimposed on the old pain that is already there. So already pain is there. So not get disturbed means you are again superimposing. It cannot be done that way. Therefore, it becomes a superimposed philosophy. Again, it causes guilt if you are not able to withstand the pain. Therefore, it becomes a superimposed philosophy, a list of do's and don'ts, shoulds and should nots. The old pain that is inside simply becomes confused because by the new superimposed philosophy. The new philosophy says don't get hurt, but already hurt is there. Don't get hurt by the criticism. Already the pain is there. So again, the pain will be covered. Covered pain is not the curing of the pain. The pain doesn't get cured. It is covered. It is still there. The pain will be there. One day it will blow up. Therefore, the superimposed philosophy doesn't work. Therefore, by adding to the confusion that was already there, instead of the new philosophy helping, it becomes a problem. It becomes another big problem. Therefore, we must understand very clearly what this shloka is trying to say. In all situations, the person's mind is always in a state of great composure, param samahitaha. That by only by understanding that aham atma, not it is not it is because it is not subject to any change. It is aham atma, not the mind. All these emotions are for the mind, not for the atma. Therefore, the one who understands the atma, oneself. But here the word atma is used in the sense of mind, but who has a clear understanding of oneself. For that person, the pairs of opposites, this dvandvas, Shita, Ushna, Sukha, Dukkha, Mana, Apamana, cannot create any dent, it cannot create any problem. Therefore, the person's mind, that is Atma, is always in a state of great composure, param samagitaha, and we have to work for such composure, not just simply superimposition of ideas. How to get this param samagitaha, samagita chitta? By proper understanding. By proper understanding of oneself, it is gained. Understanding of oneself. Looking at what causes pain, what causes pleasure, what causes mana, what causes apamana, what the image or what image you have about yourself, your self-esteem, self-image, whether it is the self-image, what you have, is it a self-image, what you have, does it concur with what you are really, or is it a superimposed one? So therefore, one need to have clear understanding. Everybody has one self-image. One's image, one creates about oneself. When that is attacked, then the first person feels pain. So similarly, pressure also. Similarly, pleasure also. All other pairs of opposites, they causes pain and pleasure, sukha, dukkha. Because once one's self-image is either it is the attacked or the self-image is strengthened. Self-image is strengthened by the praise, or the self-image is put down by the criticism. So therefore, that leads to the mood swings. That leads to that disturbs the composure of the person. That is why one needs to have proper understanding. Here, understanding of Atma is not talked about. But the shloka can be interpreted that way also. That is second interpretation. Paramatma is Paramatma. So one whose mind is placed in Atma, Brahma, that person, Prashantasya, he treats everything sama, not disturbed by any of them, because his understanding is Aham Atma Brahma. How can Brahma, Aham, who is Purnaha, Nitya Shuddha Mukta Swabhavaha, be subject to Sukha Dukkha, Shita, Ushna, Mana, Apamana. Therefore, naturally, the mind is composed. That is the second interpretation. That is what here the Shankaracharya gives. This verse also can be taken as how Shankaracharya took it. In fact, that is better. The person whose Karyakarana Sangata is mastered, it's called Jitatma, that is Antakaranam, Jitatma. Antakaranam or Karyakarana Sangata, body mentions complex. Upadi. And because his mind is tranquil, it's called Prashantaha in the shloka. Now, for such a person, Paramatma taking it as a one word. If you split the word Paramatma, then it gives a different meaning. Now, Paramatma is such one word, it's a compound, Karmadaraya. Then Paramatma is Brahma, then Brahma is Atma, that Brahma, Aham, Atma, Brahma. In other words, one who has a knowledge that Aham, Atma, Sachit, Ananda, Brahma, Paramatma iti, as is or her own Atma, then such a person is always same, Samahitaha, even when the situations change. He doesn't get disturbed. Ultimately, that is what is intended, that is what decided by the sadhaka, the mumukshu. That is the ultimate understanding that Aham Atma Brahma, the person is not subject to samsara. Samsara in the form of this raga dvesha, pairs of opposites, Shita Ushna, Sukha Dukkha, Mana Apamana. So, in fact, that interpretation is better. But the shloka, the word Paramatma, that the word yields to the Paramatma, that word makes the shloka interpretable in two ways. When it is split into two words, when it is taken as two individual words, there is one meaning. When you take a Paramatma, then there is jnana. So therefore, for the one who has the jnanam, Atma jnanam, so what can criticism do? What can praise do? Praise cannot improve the person because he is Atma. Criticism cannot pull the person down because he is already Atma, full. So, therefore, nothing can be taken away from the person and nothing can be added to the person because Purnamadaha Purnamidam is already Purnaha. That is understanding of the reality, the truth of oneself. So, therefore, for that person, the pairs of opposites cannot create any disturbance. That is the second meaning. First meaning is the one who has clear understanding about oneself. Understanding about oneself, taking into consideration all his past, that is childhood, etc. So one who has an objective outlook about oneself. For that person, his mind is always calm. But need not have the knowledge of Atma, but still the person can enjoy composure. In fact, that is a requisite for dhyanam. For dhyanam is, they say dhyanam is intended for, dhyanam is for peace, for shanti. But that for dhyanam also we require shanti, relative shanti. So therefore, Paramatma Samahita, the person must be relatively peaceful, relatively calm, relatively composed. That is the first meaning. Second meaning is, it's jnanam, taken as Atma Jnanam. For the one who has Atma Jnanam, these pairs of opposites do not create any change in that person. That is the meaning. Since the topic is dhyanam, therefore, first interpretation is better. Second interpretation better from the standpoint of Atma Jnanam. First interpretation of the topic of dhyanam. For the one who is going to do dhyanam, sit on the asana and practice dhyanam. First interpretation. Second interpretation, in terms of the tattvam, in terms of the truth, second interpretation is better. And Bhagavad takes the second interpretation. So anyway, we take, so that interpretation can be accommodated in keeping with the context both interpretations can be accommodated. So we'll stop here. The next shloka, we'll see. We'll see the next class. Here also certain attitude on the part of the sadhaka who performs dhyanam or who is going to perform dhyanam as antaranga sadhana is going to be presented. We will see. We'll see that in the next class. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Dhanyavadaha.